Right, ladies and gentlemen, stop shooting your arrows, put your weapons away, everyone sit down, relax. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, after being pestered for God knows how long, for actually getting another summit up and running, welcome to the 5th Continental Summit of the Rozakko'ra continent. Thank you for the people in Sentara who have made these golden thrones for some particular reason. I think we already know why. And they've made us two, me and the Vice Secretary, a lovely throne behind here for some reason as well. So thank you very much for allowing us to have this lovely building to host our summit for this month. So yeah, apologies from me, of course, for not getting onto a summit at some point in time, but things happen. And I did say that I was going to get a summit, and here we have a summit. So there we are. We've got a summit. Right now, there have been a lot of things that have been going on. I think we're all aware of that. So this is now why we are here as well, to talk about those things, make sure that we're all discussing them, make sure we're all apprised with all recent events, etc., etc. We all have the fine idea of what's going on in these summits. So firstly, I'm gonna go a few little things about how me and I'm forgetting names here. Tiscorn, we both had a little discussion and we looked at some of the suggestions as well. And there's a few things that we would like to discuss with you and to see how you guys would feel about that, essentially. I'm being pinged left, right, and center, which is, can you add Stellar Sword as a stage? He's a representative of Celtic. Okay, right. I shall do that real quickly. Bear with me for 1 second. If they can raise their hand real quickly. And I'd request that you please stop pinging me 6 goats. It's not helping. So, the idea that we had at first, and me just thought it would be a good idea to have, and someone recommended this on the suggestions. I can't remember who exactly, but there was an idea that to have some sort of an emergency summit with all the nation representatives to discuss a topic that the majority of the leaders here would think would be a good idea to have an emergency summit for. I'm wanting to hear if that opinion would be a good idea for any of the leaders here, if they wish that that would be a good idea or not. If so, I would like them to speak now if on that topic that I've placed upon you. The silence does not help whatsoever.
Can I question what that emergency summit would entail? Like, why do we
the
need
in-
one?
the sheer fact that when we had a few situations that happened, and we already know what the situations were, we had situations going on in the center of the southern continent, and we had situations going on in Chimeria as well. Right, to the people who are pinging me, if you're wanting up for representation, please put your hand up, and then I will literally drag you up here.
In
So the
basic
idea of
words,
it is,
in basic words, we have an emergency summit because Rozakko'ra cannot set itself on fire for in 5 minutes. We cannot leave it for 5 minutes. That's why we're having a summit.
so the idea is that if there's a specific topic that someone is wanting to discuss, let's say some nation here is doing this to some other nation, etc., etc. Just an example. If someone wants to bring it up, one of the nation representatives wants to bring that up and say, we would like to have an emergency summit about this with all the leaders. Okay, if the majority of the nation leaders agree to have an emergency summit for that, they can all have a date set up, they can have it all organized, and we'll be able to discuss on that topic to see how they would like to deal with that situation. However, the topic of it would have to be would have to be reasonable and serious at the same time in order to not have any jokes going around. Essentially, anybody got anything to add about that, or have any questions about it?
Permission to speak?
Permission granted.
Us and Hanya should believe that this idea of having an emergency summit would be good in times of need. For if some people administering this Continental system aren't able to hold a summit, we should still have a system in place to where we can hold a summit if we need to talk about something.
There we go. Has anybody else got anything else to add for that?
I mean, what would qualify as something important enough to talk about? Like, give me an example. Like, what would be
Sorry.
what would qualify as something to call the entire continent into a meeting, an emergency meeting?
I would say the most drastic of things I'd think would be an advisable thing to have a discussion with, whether it's some big power that's wanting to threaten the continent, that sort of thing, or something else that's either in a nice plausible way, like for example, you have your World Summit. If you're wanting to seriously discuss about that, then by all means, we'll have the majority discuss it. If it's something about maybe an aggressive entity of some sorts is coming in and being like, "Oh, we're gonna take over," we can have an emergency summit about that. It's those serious topics that come up, and that's happened across the world, of course, that I feel like would need to be addressed if that comes up.
If both sides agree to an emergency summit, then I guess so. I don't see a problem with that.
Anybody else have any thoughts
If
about
both
that?
sides. What if it's an exterior or an international threat?
I
out
would
of our
say that.
continent?
There we go. Well, that's a good question, and at the end of the day, I just suggested this to see if that would be a good idea and plan, to see if there's anything that we could expand on that, etc., etc.
Mhm.
But
Maybe like a
it would.
board, like
Hmm.
a random board of nations can judge each any time an emergency is brought up, and so then they can
Well,
judge if it needs to be addressed in an emergency meeting.
The more red tape you add, the more less of an emergency meeting becomes. It's going to take longer to have the meeting. Just bear that in mind.
Right. Well, the idea is up there, so I just thought it'd be a good idea to have that at some point. Moving on to my little list here, there was chatter at some point, but this chatter seems to have disappeared now because of a situation that happened in that part of the continent. There were chatter between many delegates before the summit, having the chat about a continental capital. Now, this capital would serve mostly as a neutral space where it would be where we could directly have a fixed location to have our summits, essentially. The idea did come to mind here and there, and I thought it would be a good idea to bring it up to you guys to see how you guys would feel about having a continental capital just to have our summits and to do whatever we would like within that space, essentially.
I think that's a good idea. I think the hardest thing about that is just figuring out where to put it. But there was some drama over like where to hold it, and that would cut out a lot of unnecessary jibber jabber. I think that's a good idea if we can
I'm
find a good place
I'm
to
not
put it.
super eager on this idea, but if it were something that y'all wanted to do, the World's Fair Library would be a place that I'm willing to offer up if people are so inclined.
Feel like
And
would it remove some intercontinental like representation among Like if you have a dynamic meeting hall between different nations, it can give more representation to non like large nations. Isn't that? Don't you want that? I mean, I'm still in favor of the idea because I think it's yeah, but
I think it kind of
Just something
skews
to bear in
towards
mind.
the larger nations anyway, though. Hasn't the summit always been hosted in a big nation because it always wins the vote?
Yeah, right.
The nations, there's only been 3 nations that have been able to host the summit so far. We had Rozo twice, we've had Sentara now twice, and we had Chimeria once. So the idea of having a neutral place to, understandably, just to host the summits and such, and to do whatever we'd like there, just so then we have a fixed point and we don't need to bicker about, oh, the big nations are going to get it, oh, it's unfair for the small nations. If there's just a neutral place, then you have a neutral place there, just so then we don't have any bickering between each other, essentially.
Yeah, the idea of neutral land where we will place summits where it would be safe for every party. Because let's imagine the situation that one major nation don't like another major nation, but the second major nation wins the capital of the summit. And there is a high risk of violence, so that's not good. And plus, we have an infrastructure gang that is building roads across all the continent, and we need to place them somewhere. So it will be good to have some international land somewhere on the continent to host these people and to host all the summits in that capital.
Yeah, but what's to say that the land will always stay neutral, right?
The idea is that one of the staff members from the people who organize the summit would most likely be the person to hold the claim or whatever we do to make sure that it doesn't bicker between who owns it, essentially. I'm using the word essentially too many times. I need to really stop myself at this point.
And so could that staff member, what if they have outer allegiances, or what if somebody takes it militarily and nobody can do anything?
So
Would they then have a claim over the rest of all of Rozak?
I'm going to jump in
Rozakko'ra?
here again. I do not think there should be a central place. I think it should jump around. But I am going to also say, like I said, the World Library is open. I have sincere doubts that anyone's going to take it militarily to start with. As soon as the World's Fair is over, its historic value will probably make it almost impossible. And I barely pay attention to politics as is, so I'm going to stay very neutral. My nation in Eldom and now typically tried to stay as neutral as possible. We don't like to do wars. We don't like to do a lot of politics. I did a lot more politics in Eldom than I do now. Now I leave it all up to Buzzy because I, quite frankly, can't be bothered.
Honestly, fairest
So
thing I've heard so
it's
far today.
so if you need a neutral place, as far as I'm aware, and obviously I have a biased opinion, the World Library is probably your best bet.
Yeah, this almost seems like something that would be decided before the summit, if that makes sense. Like, it makes sense to have neutral ground, but if we thought that there was going to be a conflict of interest ahead of time because this nation didn't like this nation, that feels like, something that could just be decided ahead of time.
Yeah.
Again, the reasons I've placed this upon you is to ask for the opinions and make sure that I get an understanding of how people would feel about that idea.
I think we should still move it around.
Okay.
I agree. I think we should keep it
Yeah,
in
it
different
shouldn't stay
cities
the
each
same
summit
place.
because one, representation for all people in the continent. Also, the fact that I think it just brings nice little tourism, brings out all, helps everybody see all the builds across the continent.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I agree
agree
with
here.
that. I think if
All
you're
right.
gonna do anything, change it to be sort of like a rotation system, so it's not just all huge nations that get the to host the Senate.
Yeah, I was
host the
thinking that
convention.
too.
Also, can I mention something separately, real quick?
I will.
I've noticed we've had a couple. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. If has this got something to do with what we've just discussed?
Something
there, or
to
is
do
this
about
something
the summit.
completely different?
Something to do about where the summits are hosted.
All right. Okay, you may proceed then.
I think we should not. I think we should try to host summits in different towns each time. We've had a couple towns that have hosted them more than once.
But most towns don't have a building to host a summit in, right?
Yeah,
Well,
there's
we
been
should
an
try our
issue a
best,
couple
is
of
what I
times,
mean.
right,
We
where
should try
people
our best
haven't
to put
even
them somewhere.
put in.
Order one at a time, please. Because if we keep going all together, then nobody's going to understand a single word we're saying. Zane, if it is, I'll let you go
Yeah,
there real
Zane.
quickly.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, I know that there are some places that aren't really built to be able to host the summits, but that's why we should at least try our best, I would say.
Okay. Well, the idea was. Oh,
I would propose that we do like a cooldown on different like capitals, for example, that they can like run for the hosting city like every 3 summits or something like that. So not like the big cities always get the role. You get what I mean?
So are you suggesting to remove the voting and add like a queue almost?
No, just
Kind of. I mean, like in terms of you have a countdown or like a not a countdown, but like big cities. They have to like if the summit was hosted there, they have to wait like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 summits to host it again in their like city. So they don't always run and win the location. Like we now had the summit for the like now it's the second time that we're having the summit in Sentara in Zolatria. So for example, we cannot have the summit here for the next 2 times, and then we can have a vote on it again.
I think having a queue would be good because
Phelan, I mainly would just like to add that my idea is that if we do have neutral ground, then I think it would be beneficial to perhaps build some sort of hall out in the ocean, so it's not.
How did you get into here?
I have no idea. I thought you did it.
I didn't get you in here. What are you doing here?
I was asking if I could tell you something. I thought you allowed me to speak. I just want to say, if we have neutral ground, put it in the water. Okay, good night.
If I may.
Well,
wait, may I continue what
before
I was
let
saying?
me just like cope with what I just witnessed there for a second there. My goodness. Right, okay. I'll let you finish, Bob, real quickly, and then whoever wants to speak next, I will let you speak next. Bob?
I was gonna say having a queue would be good for smaller nations because if they know they're gonna host a summit in like say 4 or 5 summits in the future, they'll have time to build up the infrastructure required to hold one, even so they can join the queue without having the infrastructure right now.
It's like the Olympics.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. With that being said, then I think we will look into that then, and I do agree that what you guys have said are greater ideas. So we shall. Me and the vice secretary will have a little nose and have a little look into that. Now, I'm just going to reiterate a few things that I would like to say myself. Of course, concerning how I do nation representation. Now, there have been a few special cases here and there, and those people have been all been done with. But the problem that I face here is that when there is a band player for an extended period of time, it is difficult to have you represent your nation at a full capacity, essentially. So, me and Triscorn had agreed that if you are banned for a certain amount of time on the server, you will not be eligible to have nation representation. And now I'm having to deal with a situation where I'm being constantly pinged by one individual, and I'm not calling you out because I'm saying you're being a nurse. just to let you know. The reason is because I now understand your dilemma now, that apparently you are the only person apparently here that's representing your nation, Leon. So, I do understand how that is making you feel there, but the problem is I'm having to deal with that rule as well. Right? And I feel like it's a reasonable rule because you can't really do much if you are banned on the server. Now, can you?
Can I pitch in and just say that that's just a Stoneworks rule too. If you're banned for X amount of time, during that ban, if depending on the ban, you're not supposed to be participating in Geopol anyway. So
Exactly.
just don't get banned. Stop that.
My point still stands. This summit here is what we would consider a Geopol event, essentially. This is basically where we're talking about what's happening around in our continent and around our world. You cannot have representation at all if you are banned, and the rule that Terrador has just spoken there, thank you. There we go. Thank you for letting us remind us about that rule. So, final thing that I'm going to say is an idea that we also had as well was a continental market. Now, I've just basically suitable for us to have trading within our local continent, see what is available for us that we can have instead of having to search around all over the place for some random shop. So I was wondering if anybody has any ideas that they would probably like to bring out to do stuff for marketing and such for the smaller businesses, etc., just to get them out there.
So wait, you're proposing like a one market for all of Rozakko'ra?
Not just one market. I would.
Yeah, no.
No. Because
I
Sentara
think
opposes.
I would propose more of a like a advertisement channel in the Discord here where people can advertise their businesses. We have we can make a list of in-game markets, but having one joint market is stupid because we're all independent nations.
I will just say that I was not referring to having one single market because I know how much of a pain in the arse that would be for everyone here. So I would say that the idea that you proposed there would be a more ideal solution, essentially. Does a majority of people here agree with that assessment? That we would mostly go with something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I will say, Magdalena gets a lot of traffic, and I'm too lazy to handle that market. So if anybody wants to do it, let me know.
Lazy with politics, lazy with the market. You're doing well.
I know. Wait till the World Fair comes up and that
He just like
conversation
me.
happens.
He just
No,
like
don't
me.
worry. Don't worry. We're getting to that in a moment.
Apologies, my neighbors got rid of their muffler.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So that's all that I have
got
to
so
say.
many DMs right away.
Oh my god.
Y'all better make a resume.
That's me done with what I'm speaking with, and I'll take all of your considerations into consideration, of course, because they are fantastic nonetheless. So this is where we now go into our more serious topics, and after we finish with those serious topics, we will ask just generally around to see if there's anything that anybody would like to say. That's sort of just the way that I've been doing things, etc. So, the first thing that I have on my list is what has been quoted to me as the big elephant in the room. I apologize for quoting it like that, but that's the first sentence I can think of so far. The whole incident that happened within the Chimerian area. Yes. So, I know that we've got representation from both Chimeria and we have representation from Akashiro. I'm not too certain if we've got representation from... Have we got representation from... I do not know how to pronounce the new nation that's appeared.
They're here, but they can't speak at the moment. So,
Okay.
The representative from the Arushine Menirot won't be talking most likely.
Okay, no worries. So, I will allow at this point because the person who asked me to discuss this firstly was the Shogun of Akashiro, so I will allow him to speak firstly. If you'd like to come up to the stage as well. Also, whoever's giving me random books, you know I'm not going to read them. So please come up to the stage if you can, just to talk about. Okay, the question is, can you get up on top of the stage? Okay, there we go.
All right. Hello everyone. There's gonna be a bit of a yap sesh because I want to explain what's happened to everyone. So, as some of you may know, and as it was just said, I'm the Shogun of Akashiro, and as most of you think, we're responsible for dismantling Chimeria. However, I want to say that that's not the entire truth. So I wanted to paint kind of the full picture here. A month or two ago, our fellow friends from who we met in the first Rozakko'ra summit came to us asking for help. They had been forcefully thrown out of their government positions and shunned by the people of Chimeria, raided repeatedly in their very own cities, and disgusting rumors spread about them. As we listened to what they had to say and their worries, we realized that the state of Chimeria is not ideal and not a great place for people to generally live or run in government as a whole. So we decided to help Zara and Scourge regain the throne, which they had been thrown out of. So here we are now. Half of Chimeria is quote unquote under the control of Akashiro, and the entire government of Chimeria has been punished for doxing, threatening Zara and Scourge, doxing and threatening Zara and Scourge, which is something that should never happen in a block game. We're all here to enjoy playing the game together and fostering a community that supports each other. Additionally, I want to mention that Akashiro has zero intention of staying in Rozakko'ra. We are here temporarily to help our friends regain their footing. Once we succeed, I promise you, we will leave the continent for good. After all, we're only really interested in Holland politics. However, on the other side of the spectrum is Chimeria and Vinovia. At the moment, Chimeria is basically a puppet state of Vinovia. And as me and everyone here knows, Vinovia won't leave claims alone no matter what. So, what I wanted to ask you is, do you really want Vinovia to have a permanent stronghold on your continent? And will you help us do what's right and make Zara the Empress of Chimeria once again? As I said previously, once we achieve this, we are going to leave Rozakko'ra. And instead of us being here, the reformed Chimeria / or the Arushinim Menirat will be here. Thank you for your attention.
You may stand down from the stand. Right. Has the representative for Chimeria have anything to respond with what has been said?
Hello, I am Ender. I am the current emperor of Chimeria. I'm gonna apologize.
Would you like to come?
Oh, sure.
Would you like to come up to the stage just because it's there for a reason?
I'm gonna apologize right now. I am not a public speaker. So basically, of course, all of our previous leadership has been banned and blacklisted. What they're doing now, I couldn't tell you. I have seen that someone mentioned a separate server that our leadership had promoted that was removed from our announcements channel after a Vigarian representative brought it up to me. I had completely forgotten it was there and had meant to remove it myself. I don't know what goes on in that server as I had left it myself a while back. Other than that, we have little to no connection to the previous leadership. It is awful what they have done to Zara and Scourge, and I sincerely apologize for that. I would like to say that at first we did defend them because we didn't have any evidence of it ourselves. What we're supposed to just believe their word on everything when we've seen absolutely nothing that they say that they have. After, of course, we got the information from Stony, or some of the Stony. Okay, I see the message about Venovia. So, Syndicate has been helping us get back on our feet after the whole ban wave of our government. Of course, he hasn't been doing it since he was banned, but yeah, he was before he was banned. But ever since he was banned, he has been pretty much radio silent on us. And I've just been talking with him myself about his ban, and that's about it. So we have very little connection with Venovia, other than him helping us get back on our feet and helping negotiate, as I'm new to this emperor position. Is there any other questions that you may have? Why is Syndicate banned? There was a whole announcement made about it in the Stoneworks Discord. I advise you read that.
Has anybody got anything else to say about
Mark?
the statement?
So
And
can I just jump in? I just want a
Yes.
clarification on the situation. So you are the current Emperor of Chimeria, right? And
Yes.
you were made Emperor by who?
I was made Emperor by pretty much the chain of command. It was after Thessian had left again, the chain of command the succession had gone Architect, who was blacklisted, Schnur, who was also later blacklisted, and then myself.
Okay. So Akashiro's. I'm just trying to figure out what of both of your claims are legit versus, a little
Right.
iffy. Because I don't really understand. So,
May I just have some order for just one? Can I have some order for 1 second? Remember when you mentioned about removing someone from the building?
Yes.
Right.
Oh no.
Where are they? Person by the name of IA somewhere.
There's like an invis person constantly going around.
Yeah, they're probably invis.
Right. If you see that person around at all, please vacate them from the premises immediately, as I do not need comments like that within my messages on the game. Thank you very much. I don't need that at all. I'm a neutral representative. I'm not doing anything at your own will. I feel like I've
just
made
kill
that.
any invis people.
Indeed. Right. My apologies for interrupting. You make it. What the hell?
Brilliant.
This
sums up the situation pretty much.
Why is there a brawl happening?
What a nice
Who's
situation,
fighting who?
guys.
What nations are fighting who?
That's
all right.
Order.
What nations
Alright,
are
let's
brawling?
read that.
What's the nations? What's the nations brawling?
Right. Whoa.
There's an invis guy just
whoa.
attacking people.
Right, Cruzio, can you get
Alright.
down here and try to help kill the invis guy?
Oh my god. Is this the first actual attack during a summit?
Okay.
Actually, hear me out though. It's not a true summit without a little bit of fighting.
That's a good point,
Okay.
but still.
Let's have a bit of order now. I feel like the situation has been dealt with. If not, we'll find out soon enough anyway. Right. If we can. Okay. If we can continue on with the summit, please. Thank you very much. I do apologize for any of the inconvenience for anyone that got hurt. There we go. Right. I think it was Terador who was trying to speak there, and I interrupted them.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify because clearly, Akashiro and Venovia, Akashiro's chimera and Venovia's chimera are at odds with each other. The question that I want to ask is: the people living and owning these claims are, how do they feel about it, right? Because like if Ender hasn't been appointed by the citizens, but previous now banned people, and Akashiro is just coming in and trying to reinstate an old person themselves. What about the people who actually are living in that area of the continent? What relevance do they have to this conversation, and where do they want to be?
So, at the beginning of this whole ordeal, Akashiro had approached us with basically an ultimatum saying to put Zara on the throne, or else. And I held a poll for our citizens to say, hey, would you support Zara on the throne? And there was an astounding no from our community.
If I recall, it was one person that said yes, and 50 or 70? I forgot which one it was. 50 or 70 that said no.
Okay, but out of those 70, how many people were how many of those people were people who are active and their main claim is a Chimerian claim?
It was
I
citizen
would,
general.
I would like
It
to,
was
I would
citizen
like
general.
to add on to what they said that many people who voted, many people who would have voted against Ender and their claim were more or less peer pressured into voting on no. People who tried to, people who left Chimeria for our side, many of them were received threats. They received they were like shunned down upon. Basically, people are forced to vote what the government wants them to vote because
Do
otherwise they
you
get.
have receipts for any of that?
Yeah,
I would love to receive those receipts because I was not made aware of any of that.
If I may.
If I may have some order for just one moment here, if we can have some evidence to be displayed about this accusation here, then please do so. I will be mine. Also, Zara is now in the building as well, so there we go. Welcome to the summit. I don't know if you were here already or if you just spoke now, so there you go. Welcome to the stage. Just out of curiosity, are you wanting to say anything, Zara, at all in this situation, or would you like to wait for later on and let this be first?
Sorry, I have family over, so I can't speak for very long, but I just wanted to point out that yes, we do have receipts, and I have receipts of one person saying that anyone who supports me should be molested, and we've had many people come forward to us and tell us that they've been harassed by Chimerians for showing support for us.
This has turned into a more serious matter than I expected.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I just thought I might make sure all of
Okay.
the important facts were brought up.
Right. Right. Okay. If the receipts are displayed for evidence, then there you go. There you have it.
Hold on.
But Ender, your reply to this, if I may.
Who was it that said that?
but yeah.
If I may state, I feel like the words that were used there were not the kindest of words, if I do say so myself, and I feel like a majority of people would fairly agree that those words are beyond.
Yeah, so during the time Zara was in leadership of Chimeria, she received sexist remarks, as well as well, as I mentioned before, those doxing threats and etc. And Chimeria, when I've talked with Chimeria before, on this topic. They've often said that they've argued that Chimera isn't on the throne because she didn't fulfill her duties. But I also want to ask all of you whether or not you would fulfill your duties if you received remarks like that, if you received doxing threats and you know sexist remarks, and would you really stay in a nation like that, or would you, pack your shit and move?
Okay, I'm a very pragmatical person. We have an issue. Let's solve the issue. Okay, can you the Emperor of Akashura? Can you describe the issue in short in short form, and then the solution you are proposing, and then we'll hear the solution that Chimera proposes, and then we'll come from that.
Can you repeat what you said, please?
Okay, since there is an issue, can you please describe the issue in short form and the solution for that issue that you are proposing?
Right. Well, at the moment, the issue is that Chimera is all split up, and there's two claims to the throne: Ender's claim and Zara's claim. And we have our viewpoint is that Zara has the rightful, is a rightful heir to the throne, and originally we proposed this reformation of Chimera's government system, where it turns into a diarchy, and there's a government representative from each side. However, that was more than denied by the Chimerians, and in the end, we scrapped the whole idea. So at the moment, our solution is for Zara to be the leader of Chimera, which is not a compromise at all. But since our attempts at compromise were completely, absolutely thrown out the window, there's no real
If
option.
if I may just read out what Zara has just stated on the chat here, and I'm going to quote what has been stated. I want to point out that I was never officially removed from my titles and claim to the throne, while Ender was never a part of the royal family and expressed much desire to not be a royal and has no interest in leading. Any response to that, if I may inquire?
I'm gonna get AFK kicked.
Proof?
I was gonna get AFK kicked. Give me 1 moment. About the part about not being in the royal family, yes, I have absolutely no interest in nobility or royalty families or any of that. I think they're just ego boosts, and I want no part of it. And it has only caused problems in the nation in the past, with like 3 other quote crown princes that were just not cut out for the job. I never said that I had no interest in leading. I don't have an interest in, of course, running a nation of 500 people, 500 or so, or whatever. It's 300, I think. But if I need to do it, I'll do it. Okay.
Right.
So
I'm just going
Hold
to
on, I'm
place
seeing the
order here.
screenshot.
I'm going to place order right here. The screenshot has been posted in the chat right there about what has been said.
Of course, it was Tom. Why would it be Tom?
Uh,
Okay, I'll handle that myself. That's
also,
disgusting.
so Ender, you admit as Chimera is a monarchy, if I remember correctly, you admit to having like 0 claim to the throne, as you were not royal, so you've kind of self-appointed yourself.
order. Let the response come in, please, before you overwhelm.
When Thessian left for the last time and made architect the Emperor, it was stated that it would go to Schnur after Architect and then me after Schnur, should he have decided to leave. When sorry, I'm reading the chat. When Schnur and Architect were both banned, that had not been changed. So I naturally was in line and took the throne.
Has anybody got a response for that?
Right. But isn't I asking again? Isn't Chimera a monarchy?
Is Chimera a monarchy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I just need to look something up so I don't get my So
I think
by the way a monarchy works, a person that is part of the family of the monarchy
Took you that long to notice, Leon.
should be leading the nation, no? Also, I looking and looks like Scourge wants to speak. He's
I'm
We
afraid
could
that
ha-
Scourge,
like-
as far as I'm aware, is that person still banned?
No, I'm unbanned today. Actually, thank God. Thank the gods.
I
You can
did not get you in. What?
Someone invited me. Sorry. I just wanted to answer your question in person. Also, I'm on
Just
mobile, so
Corn.
be careful. Okay.
What?
So I'm
Are you
unbanned today.
accepting people in here?
No, I'm playing War Thunder.
I don't know. Someone invited me.
Petition to ban the War Thunder player.
Yep.
Oh my
Agreed.
goodness. Oh God Almighty. Okay,
Agreed.
right. Okay, I will
Agreed,
deal. I will deal with your membership later on, but for now, I will allow you to speak at this point in time.
Okay, cool. I'm just speaking on behalf of Zara because she can't talk. She got family. She had family come over last minute. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna
Okay.
post this actual document real quick. Zara was made heir of House Rubiric, and was then, when Thessian retired for temporarily because he had to go take up another job. She was made empress. She was made empress early. The people who actually have been permabanned and the community that has been extremely toxic who followed these people to the other server, when she was made empress, they didn't like her. She did receive a lot of sexist comments, all this kind of a lot of hate. And behind the scenes, we can call it the state of Chios, because this was a major faction in the nation. They threatened to secede from the nation. They threatened to leave because they didn't want her as the leader. Now, that is what we were told by Thessian at the time. So I'm not trying to lie. I will never try to tell a lie here. So he then came back, and he then reformed his house to House Fire, not Verburic, to weed out some people who were attached. And he actually made a new document where he labeled out his heir and spare. His spare was Ethan Heir, the architect, and his heir was Zara. But in order to maintain order over the unruly, toxic community that he didn't want to deal with, if you actually look at his ANAT when he actually announces his retirement, he does comment on the toxicity in the nation. It's actually quite humorous looking back on it. Instead of dealing with it, he decided to go over the heir and appoint the spare. That is a violation of his house. And here I'm going to post the document right now. That is still up to date right now, saying that she is the heir to the throne of Chimera, the throne of the family that runs that nation. And that is our basis for everything we've done.
For the time being, I'm going to have a read of this, and I will let you continue to speak until I have read what has been stated.
And so, while these players have been permabanned off, yes, it has ended up in Edgar's lap, who also, I'm not going to say he had no interest in leading. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I know for a fact, though, he had no interest in being part of any royal family. And so if Ender did want to come to a resolution, he could do a diarchy with Zara, help reform the community, and get rid of toxic individuals who are extremely sexist, and also the ones who fled to the other server, he could do that, and also allow Zara to have a claimant to the throne so that we could reform the nation into a bigger, powerful nation rather than tear it apart. It was met with extreme refusal, especially by the previous person, Schnur, who refused and said that we don't do a diarchy in Chimera. But then in the next message said, we do a diarchy, me and Ender. So it's quite humorous. There was just a lot of hate, and a lot of those votes were also from the people who then went to that other server. There are good people in Chimera, a lot of people who are misinformed, and a lot of people who were told a lot of lies. We can't share the evidence of all the doxings because people will get doxed. People's addresses were in these recordings. We could subtract it, but then there's nothing to listen to. And it's hours and hours of videos. No one's going to listen to it. We wouldn't expect every Chimerian to do it. We wouldn't expect any of y'all to do it. We're not going to do that. Stony never did it. So that's all I got to say.
I will just order for just one moment. I will state that on this document here, for the subsection saying house, how do you pronounce the name of the family again?
Fire?
Fire. For House Fire, for the title Heir of the House goes to Zara Fryer. Zara Fryer. Ugh, it's a tongue twister by itself there, my apologies. But yeah, it is stated that Zara's name has been placed as heir of the house, just for anyone who has not read the documents right there. Is there anything else further from anyone to speak about this situation?
I'm done unless there's a response.
Can I just ask, is there a reason why the claims that have left Chimera don't just stay gone, and then the claims that are still in the nation claim stay in the nation claim, and you guys just all chill? With people being under the people they want to be under, instead of fighting each other for land that you're not going to have active when you take it over anyway?
Okay, and that's why we're not trying to war here. We're trying to see if we can work something out, because supposedly, as Ender has said, the bad people are gone. So why can't we come to a resolution? That's all. Why can't we work together?
Okay, well, start drawing borders.
I'd like to inquire something.
I shall let the representative from Farm speak.
What is Akashiro? Like, why are you involved in it? I'm not super knowledgeable.
I can explain.
So
It's easy. It's fine. Oh, would you like to go, Glasky, or I can do it?
Well, previously I had my little speech where I explained our involvement and why we're involved. But if you want to give your point of view, Scourge, then
yeah. So we walked into Akashiro. We were new players. We started this ABEX upon release about a month in, and we joined Chimera because we set up a claim in their regions. I went around one day looking at the din map teleporting places. Ended up in Akashiro. At the time, Thessian was like, "Holy shit, you just landed in Akashiro. Please go secure an NDP with them." I said, "Oh, okay." And so we made relations, and that's where we met. It was me, Zara, and then two of our friends. We then, what did we do? We walked around the town, we met them, we made friends, and we became close. Over the months, we got closer. But especially when we discovered shady shit going on behind the scenes, we didn't want to be part of a country that would literally have the leaders involved in such terrible, disgusting things, especially when one of the leaders was already doxed himself. I don't know why he would order that shit. So to just get out and either be our own thing, we needed support, and we had a very close relationship with those friends. And we showed them what we could and talked to them and asked them, like, hey, we don't want to be here. Especially when we had that community. As I said, there was that community that was extremely hateful against Zara. There was a community of, we're going to leave if she's in charge, when she didn't do anything wrong. It was an entire group of toxic players against her, undermining her and causing chaos. That's why we went to Akashiro, because at the time, we didn't want to be part of that community. And no joke, when we did leave, we were bombarded with hatred and all that other stuff. So that toxic community existed. That's why we left and went to talk to Akashiro, because we knew that they could help us. because they were friends. That's why. Sorry if that went on too long.
No, that's okay. Any responses?
Well, I guess not.
Awesome. Any
With
more
this,
questions?
with this situation, it is very delicate, especially with the absurdity of the things that have been shown to us today. If there's anything further that anyone would like to say on the situation. Does any
Well, I
representative?
guess not.
I will ask if any representation from Chimeria would like to say anything before we move on.
I'm just trying to think.
Right. Anyone from Akashiro or from? I still do not know how to pronounce your protector. I am so sorry.
The
I'm so
Arushanum
sorry,
Mineret.
Zara.
You're totally fine. It's the Arushanum Mineret.
Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt because my Scottishness will probably bugger it off as much as it is. Right.
Right, there's a message in the chat from Zara.
Let's have a read here.
I'll read it out. So
Okay.
Theseon offered me the position because he had faith in me to take a good care of the nation. He stated many times that I was the only person that he thought would do a good job. I had plans to help the nation prosper and bring culture and activity/engagement in the player base. I took up the mantle because I wanted to help. I had nothing but good intentions, but in response, I got salty children screaming at me and Theseon demanding my removal because they felt they were more entitled to the position, and they did not like a woman being in charge. It got so bad that Theseon had to come back from retirement to handle these people. Hence why I temporarily stepped down to let him clean up his mess. That is the message from Zara.
Has anyone got anything else to say in this matter before I decide to move on? Because I think we've went on long enough with this, and I think we all understand what has
It still
been
seems
said.
like two groups of people that just need to settle in the land that they control now and be done with it, in my opinion. But anyway, all right.
In that case,
I'm getting more
then,
involved than I should.
in that case, then, if nobody else has got anything else to say at this current time, Ender, I will say that that you may go back to sit down with the rest of the people, and we shall move on to the next thing. Now, I will also state as well during this little interim, please stop pinging me to go up onto the stage. You cannot literally give me. You have literally given me no excuse or no reason in requesting why you would want to come up. The reason being, it is just cluttering everything, and not everyone's got all the time in the world. I know that's a problem that we face, but time is a thing, and we have not a lot of it, sadly. Now, if. Right. And also, the absurdity of language as well. I'd rather not have any of that language as well having to. Okay? Now, Mimi, I'm going to ask real quickly if you still accept 6 goats up in the stage, because I've been constantly pinged several times.
Yes, they are.
Right. And may I remind you, please do not move from the stage, or else I will literally not move you back up, because I've got too many people pinging me for the same reason, and they've given me not a lot of reason on why they want to come up. Okay? At the end, if there's reason that you want to come up, give me a legitimate reason why you want to speak. Not just saying, I want to get up on the stage and speak. Reasons, people. Thank you. Moving on to the next subject at hand, which is headed on with Amar. So, Terador, if you are here, can you come up?
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
hold
here.
up.
I'm here.
That's it about the situation with Chimera and Akashura. That we wouldn't. Wouldn't create a solution to the problem. We just discuss it and that's it. Call it a day.
We've just discussed it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Feel it.
and I just want to quickly interrupt here. Sorry. I should just point out that like this discussion is more than healthy, but really this is a matter to be determined between the two states. I think that was the general consensus, at least.
I
There we
agree.
go.
I agree with that.
Right. Wait, where's Terador? Where is he?
Oh, you want me to come up on stage? Hang on, sorry.
Yes, it would be preferable because this is your moment to shine.
Wait, how
essentially.
do I do that? Where do I? What am I doing?
So someone want to someone want to bring up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or you can
shh.
just talk to
You didn't see that.
Oh well, all right. Up on the stage you go. Up on the stage. Go on. Right. So this one is about the World's Fair that Terador is so fondly about. Onto a brighter note now. Here we go. So
Yeah.
the
Okay.
stage is all yours.
Thank you, sir. So, as many of you know, I've been preparing the World's Fair. It's been taking longer than I had hoped. Part of that is just because new world, new everything, and it's hard to gather resources. But also, currently right now, I have no shortage of funding for the World's Fair. I've been blessed with certain innovations, and I'm going to spend all of that money on a World's Fair for anybody questioning. But the problem is, while I'm spending all that money on the World's Fair, I still World's Fairs are expensive. And for those of you who aren't aware, because people, there's a lot of new people on the server since Rathnir and Eldam. There have been 2 previous World's Fairs. They have both shattered records for player attendees in a non-war event. With the first one being like a full server plus 200 people in the queue, and the second one had like 400 people in the queue plus a full server. The second World's Fair was also where they announced Rathnir and Eldam closing, and the opening of Abex. So it's a big undertaking. It's something that is meant to sort of highlight the how do I put it? The cultures and the role play of the server, instead of the conflicts that we all focus on so much. That being said, I haven't been feeling the best lately, and I don't foresee the complications getting better anytime soon. So all of the building that I've been doing has kind of come to a slowdown. Right now in the timeline, the build should be done. But for the last couple of weeks, I kind of have been taking a step back from Stoneworks in general and haven't really built much. And so what I really, really need, and I'm begging people, is just schematic placers. I'm buying all the materials. You can ask Greyhames. They are constantly being sold out of materials anytime I'm building. All the materials are provided. I just need help getting blocks placed. So if anybody has Lightmatica and knows how to use it, specifically Easy Place, we could really use your help. We are so close. I have invited a few nations to start filling out booths, in the hopes that maybe people can see what the goal of the booths are and start, getting a little more excited about it. I will say that volunteer help doesn't go unrecognized. If I do have a little thing that I'm keeping
I
track
want to
of.
stop you for a second. I'm being shot from up on the balcony right there. Ike the snowman up there in green, behind yous.
Brilliant.
That's twice already.
Amazing. This is going so well.
There's the Sentara security going in.
Anyway, so I am keeping track of how much people are helping proportionally. And I will say that first of all, there'll be like 3 or 4 of the prefix handed out to certain volunteers that are helping a lot. That seems like probably proportionally probably not as good of a reward as it should be. Also, when Volts are coming over, we're hoping to use a few of our high value items that we're bringing over from vaults as gifts as well to say thank you to people. We have a lot. We have a lot of financially lucrative things to hand out to volunteers that help build when that time happens too, as far as vaults. I am going to say that volunteering, your work to reward ratio is probably not going to be the greatest still. This is a air quotes nonprofit organization. This is me giving away all the money I've made on ABEX so far in a big old festival. The reward for the winner is 500K. There's also the subcategories, which are 100K each. And then this year, which is new, we're going to do a player vote on one of the booths. And that will be, and that will be a 200K reward. So that's 1 million total. Plus, we'll do the cake drop. That's going to have a couple of 100K in it as well. And then if I have time and if people are helping me build enough, I'd like to build a nice big spleef arena. And we'll put a PvP shield above it. And we'll just put as many people on the server as we can into this big old spleef arena and go. And last man standing will win however much money I have left over after the rest of the event. So I'd like to do that if I can. The key there, though, again, is I desperately need builders. So if you can use Lightmatica, that's the big thing. I just need people to place the blocks for me because I can't I can't anymore. People have been kind enough. I'm not so stressed about bookshelves anymore, which was something that I was stressed about. But there's a lot of bookshelves coming over from Eldom, as well as a few large donations of leather from Rozakko'ra and a few other people. So we'll be able to get the library done in time, I think, as long as I can get the help building it. I would say it's about 80% done now. It just needs the roof. So, and then I need the final bits of booths done. I am going to try and, just because, partly to help with the funding and partly to appease my government, who's not enthused at me spending all of our money on the World's Fair. There are going to be sponsorships to try and recoup some of those costs and also compound on the reward money. So if anybody has a market already, please let me know. I think Greyhaim's kind of got a little bit of a lead on bidding for sponsorship spots, just because they've donated like 50 or 60K worth of building materials already. But if anybody else would like to, there are also some things that I'm going to run by the server owner and see if that can happen too. I kind of had that idea during the summit, so I don't have any idea how likely it is, but I think it's a really cool idea, and I think that Mr. Gooby himself will go for it. I'm hoping. So we'll see about that one. But anyways, need a lot of schematic help. I'm begging you all, please. That's the big thing. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be amazing. I just need help. Just need a lot of building help. So if you're interested, please let me know. We'll get you in the World's Cultural Guild Discord. I'll get you the right roles, and you can download the schematic. I'll add you to the claim, and you can do what you need to do. So that's it.
There we go. You may come down from your little podium there. There we go. Fantastic. If anybody has any questions about that, I'm sure Terador would love to answer all of them as best as he can. So now you've got the time to say any questions. If not, I will move on to the final major topic, and then afterwards we will move on to any other things that anyone would like to talk about. So if anybody's got any questions, please
start responding
say away.
the link. So apologies, I'm not good. The responses aren't going to be too in depth.
Most likely. Well, with the silence there, I shall move on to the next topic. Now, we have Sentara coming up now. Whoever's representing Sentara, can you please come up?
Hello.
Are you in the game so you can take the lovely
We-
podium? Yes,
we're
you are.
literally
Right.
the ones sitting on the phones.
Sorry, that was sarcastic of me.
All
There you go.
good.
You have the stage now. So address what you
mean-
were liking to address.
I mean, like, you asked me, you said the topic is Sentara. I don't have anything to say. Hello, baby
Well-
Ace. I love you, baby Ace. Anyways, I mean, I don't have anything to say really. You said the topic is Sentara, so I assumed you have something about us to say, like.
Well, last thing you guys discussed with me was Amalia.
What do you want to know? I mean, wasn't that in a fucking Ripple ticket or what?
I'm sorry, just real quick. Ping me in the World's Cultural Guild Discord with just like the phrase "I want to help" or something. If
Engo,
if you're doing
come here for a second. Come here for a second. Right. Okay. Hold on a second. Materia said something about it. What's going on?
What do you mean that you said something about it?
Materia said something about it. You were on the VC last time talking about it.
Oh, Majiri's in here.
Well, you're not helpful at all, are you?
Yeah, well, about what? You gotta ask more specific things. Like you said something about Amalia. Like,
You guys never gave me specifics. I thought you were going to say all the specifics.
then there's nothing to talk about because last
Okay,
thing
there's nothing to talk about. Okay,
last thing I know
then.
is
Well,
last
okay,
thing I know is we only talk about
Listen,
Amalia if we
they're
ask.
all staring. They're all staring at us now. Your cameraman up there is staring at us now. Look at him.
Yeah, no, Sheep will cut out things that like he's my propaganda man. He'll make it seem like I'm good. Don't worry.
No. The whole recording will be there. Right.
Nuh-uh.
Okay.
Nuh-uh.
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 Okay. All right. If that's the case, then you might as well go to your thrones, and we'll just move on to something else then.
Yes,
Something about a
good.
wall, I suppose. Since we're all talking about a wall. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. What the? Get off my stage. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, folks. We'll just move on from there. Apparently, we had nothing. Right, okay. This is the point in time, ladies and gentlemen, where we end up talking about any sort of situations, any sort of things that you would like to discuss, and this is open to everyone. So if there's someone here that wishes to speak about something, by all means. Now, I know that there was someone who wanted to speak, and it was Mun. If you want to come up, you may put your hand up and I will drag you up. Are they here? You literally messaged me a moment ago.
Wake up, Mon Hooper.
Not Mon. Mun.
Oh.
M-U-N. Wrong person. Mun from Sentara's Ministry of apparently. No, I don't even know. Oh, it's Ministry of News, right. And are they down? Are they here? Where are they? Right, okay. You might are you dragged up on the stage already? Oh, you've got your hand up. Have you? Wait a minute. There we go. There you go. Just accept that real quickly and you'll be dragged up in here. What? I've clicked the accept. I clicked the accept. Just click the accept. There we go. Right. You have the podium, good sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
See? All right. Good evening, everyone, or afternoon, or morning, whatever. In any case, I was wanting to speak to you all today because I heard of the advertisements and what goals matter for advertising. I'm also curious as to if any of you would be contributing to the general news cycle of the continent, especially as the Sentara keeps publishing out the Domain's vision and other pieces of work. I'm going to guess that will also become relevant as the World's Cultural Guild comes up. Does anyone have anything in particular would like to show in terms of the news as well?
So am I the only one for whom he was cutting out all the time for? I could barely hear what you said.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
I was
World,
gonna-
World
I was
Culture
gonna
will be all
ask-
set.
Come on.
Alright, okay, so the idea was that since he's another news guy, he's wanting to call on others to be potential contributors to the free press of the continent, essentially. So just basically more news services and such, etc., coming in together, working together, I assume, if that's the right way of putting it.
Yeah,
Pretty-
it's that
Thank you.
Wellmast helps run the news guild. I would be more than happy to help facilitate you two speaking to each other on that
Yeah.
particular case. Just open a ticket in the World Guild.
I remember my radio station got on that news guild. I didn't even win any
Please
rewards
DM
for the
me on
newspaper.
that, I guess. Please remember that. Does anyone else also have to have a news ministry in the country at present?
I know Hardia has multiple.
Russo kind of has one if you think about it.
Alright. So, I would like to also potentially contribute to these news, to also contribute to international news as well, with us being able to collaborate on in particular topics, especially international as well. And that could involve either the exchange of information whenever it's possible, anything else matter.
Well, there we go.
Would anyone also feel inclined to make at some point a common news agency at one point? Solid information. One.
If I may interject, is this you technically asking for or proposing a more continental-wide way of working together with the news around here? Is that where we're sort of
Pretty
going
much.
with?
Whatever form can be.
Well, I suppose if anybody wishes to do something like that, then they're more than welcome to message you about it and get in touch and make sure that we can do something about it. I think as well, and I remember Majorius wanting to add his newspapers to make a news channel for newspapers here. So I'm thinking at some point we'll add a news channel just for any local newspapers and such to be submitted into there.
I'd advocate for that as well. I will reiterate that call for that.
All right. Right. Okay. In that case, then.
Sorry, my mic was cutting for a minute. Goose once on the stage. He's doing a couple news stuff for Celdex. If you may bring him on the stage so he can talk.
Go
I
ahead,
will.
then. I think I will give him the floor after my turn, if I may.
There we go. Right. I shall accept that real quickly. Goose, you may have the floor.
I would like to say I am willing to
Oh, Jesus. Order right there, right? It seems that we have a bit of a technical issue from your side over there. I do apologize, so I'm going to have to cut you out there.
okay.
Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. I'm sorry. So I run the Rozakko'ra Spotlight, if you are not aware, and I would be happy to cooperate with the Sentara Ministry of News. I don't think one unified body would necessarily work, but I think maybe sharing information and stories could possibly be a good way to improve the news aspect of Rozakko'ra.
All right. I think I would be more in agreement with you. Well, first.
All right,
The only
I'll leave
is
now.
this.
Thank you.
Do please send me
For
anything.
the record, Deuce's. Oh, sorry.
Well, after this, it's like send me what you got, I guess, of information, and I will pass it along or handle it myself.
There we are.
I think that's pretty much all the agenda.
All right. I am going to drag you guys down, or if you guys can move yourselves, that would make things much
I will
easier for
move
me.
then we'll move back to the podium.
Thank you very much. Perfect. I will also move you down into the audience as well. Is Goose still in here? No, Goose has already went down. That's fine. Right. Now, I'd like to make a wheelless state after this current one. A wheelless statement. Okay, I was about to say you've already made a wheelless state there, Mon, but I will allow you to speak real quickly. Even though you are a nation representative and you are able to drag yourself up here by yourself. But you have the floor. Where are you, Mon? I know you're here somewhere. Where is he?
I'd like to ask Goose a question, if I may, maybe.
Okay, I'll allow you to do that.
So basically, in Cashville, we're building a Formula ABEX racetrack, and it's going pretty well. The issue is a little bit of it is outside of our claim, and we just need it's a bit too close to Soldex's like dragon. I honestly don't know how to pronounce that. Dagoran Kalil. I'm sorry
We
if I
just call
butchered
it
that.
DK for short.
Yeah, DK. Yeah, we just need like 4 or 5 more chunks. And yeah, so if we were able to claim this, that
Which
would
claim is
really
this?
nice.
Because I could help you later.
Beset. We're making a raceway there.
What nation are you with?
Kashva.
Okay. We have a ticket. I think we have a ticket open with them. Maybe we discuss this later if you want.
Okay.
Should I be concerned that the Mandalorian is up there? I feel like I should, but I'm not gonna. That's the way. Right. I shall now let Mon Whipper speak now. There's no the Mandalorian.
Wait, hold up. Where's the Mandalorian?
It's in the top corner. Look, it's the right side of the stage.
Isn't the Mandalorian the guy from Fortnite? Guys, it's
Oh,
the guy
right.
from
Okay.
Fortnite.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Can he be removed from the speaking chamber?
Why
Plus
are
one.
they in the speaking chamber? It's 2. Right. Right. Mon is getting the chance to speak now since he has requested to speak after the person who spoke there. So, Mon.
I was going to talk about this to Sentara privately, but since Ingo is here and that's the person that this is most relevant to, I'll just bring it up here. I'm sure some of you are aware of the current Daishela conflict, how it kind of exploded, and there's like a
On
bunch
the
of rebels.
other
Blah,
side
blah.
of the world.
I'm aware, but okay, this is relevant to Sentara because I'm asking if you are just involved or if Sentara is like supporting them.
What do you
If
mean
that
in
just
Daishela? You mean me talking with Spades about Led Zeppelin and music, or what?
No, I'm like from what I've heard, that is you are involved with Spades in some capacity. If that is
No,
incorrect, then
okay.
it's
So the
incorrect.
thing with Spades was we just randomly started talking about music and got along, so I joined his Discord. That's all there is to
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm bringing up. That's
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Really.
Situation resolved.
Situation
Yep.
resolved, I would say. If there's no further questions.
Nope, that's it.
Well, this is
Okay.
not an interrogation. Don't worry. All right. Has anybody else got anything else they'd like to say before I go with people's requests and adding sad poo? Sad poo. I will only do it once, and if it is some bullshit, I will remove them soon after. The fuck?
I agree.
I second that.
Okay. I guess I third that. Okay, right. Okay, has nobody got anything else to say before I add them into this, into here? Nobody got anything else to say? Okay. You would like to mention the petition of Crimea? Okay, we've already passed that, Kiwi. We've already went past that like an hour ago. Enough about my dog. That's not part of this. Right. Okay. I shall only do this once. Only do this once.
Hello?
You are in.
What's up, Sapsi? I'm pretty much just like a voice of the people. Like I'm a representative of the people, pretty much.
Okay, I will allow this rare occasion to happen. Just this once. You may have the floor.
Power to the people. Power to the people.
Right, okay, that's right. Okay, that's enough of that.
That's literally 1984.
Power to the people. I am not a nation leader, for Christ's sake. I'm just the person who organized this, for Christ's sake. Right. Stop pushing me out of the damn thing. Like, okay.
Maybe
Alright, has anybody
please behave if you're on the stage. Meow. Anyways.
has anyone got anything else to say before I feel like we have finished with what we have had to say? I'm going to take that silence as a way of saying I think that's the summit. Oh.
Well. Guess who's back?
Okay.
All right. So,
Are
I
you
just
wanting
have
to
one thing.
hold? Are you wanting to say something? Is that what we're
Just-
wanting to do?
Yes, just one thing before we all go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Chicklandia, great Sentara.
Huh? I heard
What?
Sentara. Neuron active.
I agree.
I don't even know. I did not even hear the last part.
Pardon me. I heard
Okay.
Chicklandia and Sentara in one sentence.
Yeah. I don't even know. Okay. Probably. I don't even know. Right. I'm just going to say a final few remarks, just to generally everyone at this point. We all have to endure many struggles across this continent, across the things that we do around this part of the world. And it can be painful, it can be stressful, or it can be happy and it can be cheerful. Either one. We're all great people here, in our own little ways. Some, not as much. But we deal with that. At the end of the day, this is just a block game, and we're just here to have fun. And the things that some people say can be hurtful. So we just have to keep buggering on and make sure that we're strong and united, etc., etc. You get the whole ordeal. Whoever's throwing me that, thank you, I suppose. So, this is the point now where I say we have concluded the summit. Now, this is the point now where we get a lovely photo. Right, stay still. Everybody look at me. Someone just ran out of the image. Perfect. Thank you very much, folks.
Right.
There we go. See? Right. Oh, they shot the cameraman. Oh no.
One last thing, guys. One last thing.